Bonjour. Today we are going to do verbs. In French we call it les verbes. Les verbes. In French we can divide all of the verbs which we have. Actually, what I have found the number out. It is going to be approximately 2000. Near about 2000, or maybe it could go up and down, because there are many who are learning French, so they may include some number of verbs though. Let's come back. So in English, I don't know if there is any specific category of verbs, like we can divide all the verbs in specific categories, but in French we can divide all the verbs in basically 3 categories. Verbs, not auxiliaries. So we've got 3 categories of verbs. We call 3 categories. This is your number 3. 3 categories of verbs we have. In first category, we have verbs which end up with er. The verbs that are all going to have a tail like er, that is going to be included in first category. I will give you example, right? Now, second category verbs are those verbs which are going to get ended up, or their ending would be, specific ending would be ir. So the verbs which end up with ir are second category verbs. In third category verbs, we cannot say that just verbs that end up with re are going to be our third category verbs, but no. The verbs which end up with re, ir also, and oir as well, we have them under our third category. Okay, now in first category of verbs, we've got a number of 1255 verbs are in total, that they are belonging to first category. Now in second category, ir verbs are 327 in number, and third category verbs are 361 in number. This is important to know, so that you should know how many verbs we have in French. This is so far what I have counted, and I have the PDF of these verbs. If in case you need the PDF, you want to practice the verbs, so what you can do is you can just mention in the comments so that I can send you the PDF. Okay, anyways, now coming back, now we will be doing the conjugation or conjugation in English. So conjugaison en français. Conjugation is what? Suppose you have the verb to call in English. You will be like, your teacher says, okay, conjugate this verb in present. So you will be like, I cook, you cook, he cooks, she cooks, they cook, we cook, it cooks, like some machine, it cooks. And that is, you call conjugation. You adding s, you removing s from the conjugation of the verb with certain personal pronouns as in subject. So you change it, adding the s or es. Some verbs are even having es, like do, I do, you do, he does, she does. So that is called conjugation. So now from first category, in this lesson we are going to do first category verbs conjugation. We have already done personal pronouns while doing the conjugaison of the 2 auxiliaries être and avoir. So I was like, okay, fine, we will repeat that. Les pronoms personnels before conjugating the first category verbs. Just revision. Je means I, tu means you, informal, il means he, elle means she, on means one, like someone, but one, and it also means it sometimes, and it also means we, informal. We have that formal, informal, we in French, if you remember. Okay, and then nous means we all, or we, just we, but formal. Informal, formal. Vous is you, informal. Oh, sorry, formal. Vous is formal. Il is they. And it also stands for neutral, like a bunch of boys and girls. If they are sitting together in a class, you want to say they are in the class. The boys and girls are in the class. So out of this all 9 personal pronouns, you will use il. And then only for girls, ladies, women, you will use elle. Do not pronounce these as nous, vous, ils, else. It's wrong. It's only going to be as a nous, vous, il, elle. Okay, now we are going to conjugate our first verb. Now we have our verb aider, which is our first verb. We are going to conjugate. Now, before I start anything, I want to tell you the meaning of this verb. It means to help. You must have heard in Hollywood movies that the pilots or somebody who is in need of help, emergency help, they are saying mayday, mayday, mayday. That mayday, like, you know, that mayday, something like this. I don't know about that, but yeah, they always say mayday, mayday, mayday. That's not a mayday. You would be also like me, mayday. It's not mayday, it's a mayday. Mayday. Mayday means help me. That is a pronominal verb when you are doing it like this. Mayday means help me. So somebody in help would always say mayday. Now, we will conjugate this verb. And before conjugating, one more fact. Your verb, as I have told you, ER ending verbs which are belonging to first category are having 2 parts, important parts. AID is your radical. Radical. It is important to know. That is your main part. And ER is your racine. So this is what you have to remember. You are always going to change your radical, but in first category verbs, your racine remains the same. Your radical changes, your racine remains the same. If you want to call radical your stem and racine your root, that is also fine. You want to call, change it as per your understanding, just your understanding. You want to take it as in root and you want to take this one as stem, as per your understanding, you can take it. But remember, AID is radical and ER is your racine. Racine won't change, but radical will change. Now, the standard rule for doing the conjugation of your first category verbs is that you have a rule. Radical will remain same, but your racine will be removed. Like, this is your verb, remove your racine, and you are left with only this radical, right? Now, as we are left with this radical, we will put that over here, but now racine is changing. With je, your racine is a. With tu, your racine is es. With il, your racine is a. With l, it is a. With on, it is a. With nu, I have to remove it. With nu, your radical will be same, but your racine would be ons. With vu, it is ez. With il, it is and te or ent, as if you like. L, and te or ent. That is your new racine, new root. You can say, I call it always root because I'm like, okay, fine, that is easy for me. Now, radical is AIT. That is my new verb. J'aide. Did I say j'aide? Yes, I said j'aide. Now, this is not actually how we write it. I have to do one same thing which I had done with avoir in my previous video. I said we never write it like this. We always write it like this. Vowel will be gone, and this happens only with the first person pronoun, only with the verbs or auxiliaries which start with a vowel or in French voyelle. So it will be written as in jed, not as in je ed. It will be written as jed. That racine is here. Tu ed. Now with il, it is going to be my radical is going to be like over here. Il ed, il ed, elle ed, on ed. This is my D. I'm sorry for the writing. You speak it as an on ed, on ed. Nous aidons. You have to just join it. Nous aidons, vous aidez. You have to join all of this. Il aide. How I'm speaking this, I will do that. I do make clear to you how I do that. Now, this is how I have done it. Now, pronunciation. I help, first of all, the meaning. I help, you help, he helps, she helps, someone helps, or we help, the informal one. With formal, we help, you help, the formal one, and they help, and again they help. This is for masculine, this one is for feminine. Now, j'aide, tu aides, I won't make the line. Tu aides, il aide, l'aide, il aide. It will be very douce. Soft. So elle aide, vowel are going to get spoken differently. Elle aide, on aide, vowel and consonant are going to come with a spoken liaison. On aide, nous aidons, vous aidez, ils aident, elles aident. How do you speak that? If you're learning French already, you might be speaking that sentence. J'habite à blah blah, the name of the place. Suppose I write here Paris. Not Paris, but Paris. J'habite à Paris. How did you do this? This is the liaison rule. With any vowel, you have to do this liaison, but only in first person pronoun. Don't forget that. But only in case of voyelle verbs. Now we will do one verb that is going to be a consonant verb. This is your verb manger. I know maybe you are already familiar with this verb. This is a starting verb. And now maybe you already know that this is manger and this is a consonant verb and this is how you conjugate it, e, es, e. That's the rule you have remembered already. But there is one thing special that you're going to know today. Maybe you already know it. Let's just check it out. But I'm going to tell it to the students who don't know it. Okay. Manger, er is my racine and mange is my radical. Now I have a new racine. I will write that. Es, and again with nous it's ons, with vous it's z, with il it's ont, and with elle it's ont. Now I will put my radical over here. M-A-N-G, M-A-N-G-O-S, that becomes mange. M-A-N-G, I'll just shift it a little bit higher. Il mange. Elle mange. Keep listening to the pronunciation. On mange. This over here is not going to get joined. Remember, after a vowel, if there is a consonant, you won't join it, even if it is anything else. Nous, my radical, mangeons, nous mangeons, Why did I say that bonjour? The thing is, why did I add an or E for elephant over there? Why did I do that? Actually, to maintain the same pronunciation throughout my verb, we have done it. If you remember my diphthong lesson, then I had told you that there is a hard G, there is a soft G. In my this G, to make it je, I have to remember that any letter like a, e, and y, if they are coming after my G for goat or je in French, to make it je, I will have to write an e. Otherwise, there is another case. To make my G g, this is a je. To make my G for goat, je in French, g sound like g, I have a, o, u. If any of these three letters are coming right after my J, then it will become G. Now just forget for a minute that there was some E for elephant. Now it will become mongon. But now to make it sound like je, I will have to add that That's why it is written over there. Otherwise, there wasn't any need if it hadn't to be like this. I hope you will remember this. And there are 26 verbs so far, what I have counted in all of the first category verbs. There are 26 verbs like these verbs, like manger verb, which are going to have this with them while conjugating with nu only. And this thing is only happening with nu, nobody else out of these 9 people. Manger. Is already there. Mange. Mange. Je mange. Tu manges. Il mange. Elle mange. On mange. Nous mangeons. Vous mangez. Il mange. Elle mange. I hope you will remember it. And do not forget that soft G and hard G concept. Remember that. Okay, I eat, you eat, he eats, she eats. I'm rapid with this. We eat informal, we eat formal, you eat formal, they eat as in the neutral and the masculine, and feminine and plural. Elle mange. Date. And now this is what I've written over here. Le conjugaire Le Figaro. Le Figaro is the newspaper of France, which was started in 1826. This newspaper has now launched one application, and also they have their proper website, which helps students who are learning French for conjugating, for knowing the rules, their exercises. And this is a national newspaper after Le Monde, if you have heard about Le Monde. These are the top 3. There is one more. These are top newspapers of France from last 19th century, which are helping to ameliorate the level of French. You can go over there, you can conjugate verbs, you can even do exercises, and there will be some facts like this I will always keep on telling you. You can follow tomorrow the new video on something new. Merci beaucoup, bonne journée et au revoir.